If someone on social media or in person, family, friends, doesn't matter, were to ask me, Marcus, why do you trade? This is exactly what I would say. Well, maybe not exactly what I would say, like word for word, but I'll give you, you'll understand the idea of what I'm talking about by the end of this video for why I trade. So the first thing that comes to mind, now that I have had experience with the markets, like the reason what keeps me going is the process. Like the process, it's required to evolve and develop. There's no room in trading to be stagnant. And per the laws like of physics that I've come across, this is just like, I never took physics in high school or college. This is just stuff that I've found through, listening to people, virtual mentors, we can call them, and just through my own study is, there's a law that basically states, an object at rest will stay at rest until an opposing force is acted upon it. I forget the exact law that is, but those of you that know what I'm talking about will be familiar. Those of you that don't, quick Google search, you'll be able to figure it out. But because I don't want to get into it too much right now, but that's one of them. And then the other one is I believe it's the law of entropy. The law of entropy is anything that's left to tend to itself will move closer and closer to disorder. And what does that mean? To me, that just means anything that's kind of left to develop on its own. Like you're not intentionally growing a certain part of you, right? Or nurturing a certain part of you. Even when we think about like a pet, right? A dog came on earth, a dog, and it's not going to develop to anything. Like it can't develop its higher faculties. Per Bob Proctor, when we think about the higher faculties, right, where we're talking about imagination, we're talking about focus, memory, reason, we're talking about will. I was almost forgetting one. And intuition, right? So we have intuition, imagination, reason, memory, will, and focus, right? Those are the 6 higher faculties that we can develop, right? That we as human beings could develop. The one who made us gave us this ability. He gave us not only the ability, but the ability at a baseline, but also the ability to develop. Dogs can't do that. So if you left a dog to tend to itself, it would eventually starve and probably, pass away, unfortunately. And so that's kind of what I understand about the law of entropy, right? And so with trading, like the reward is so heavy, it's almost infinite. I can honestly say that the reward in trading is infinite because for one reason I'm going to start, but there's 2 things I'm going to touch on. But for the first reason, trading is infinite is because the process will keep, like I can't be the same person that I was last week in terms of the way that I dealt with those higher faculties, right? And even emotions, right? Those are characteristics that trading will bring out of you, like no matter what. Like greed, like those type of rushed emotions and decisions that we may make on other things that are really small, like so small that you might not even notice them on a day-to-day. Like the decision you make for the reason that you go out to eat versus go to the grocery store because you think about the time, right? It's going to take for you to not only go to the grocery store, then the energy to pick stuff. And like that's just one example, whatever example that you can think of that, but there is definitely something that makes us choose a quicker decision based on XYZ. You know what I'm saying? So in trading, something in a category that you may not even notice it on a day-to-day, but it truly compound interest, just like compound interest does, atomic habits, the aggregation of marginal gains, right? Over time, the little things, the little habits that we have, and that's not just a physical act. That's what I want us to remember. That's what I'm understanding that so much on a day-to-day, like just before things even get physical, it goes here. Like before things even turn an action, before you make a physical action, it's starting here. And so let's say per times it starts here, right? That makes like, and so even and the thing is, there may be minor physical actions that you do, right? Like something that simple as, instead of driving to the grocery store, and getting out the car, you're driving to the drive-through, and now you don't get out the car, right? So that's like the physical part. But the mental part, right? The mental part's totally different. Like it doesn't have to do with the process in which you were committing the physical act. It strictly has to do with the reasoning and that for you making that mental act, right? Because you made the mental act to do this versus this, right? And so the reason, like, yes, I'm being dead serious. Something that practical that, like I said, you probably don't even notice it right now. But the accumulation of those choices, right, influence our habits, right? And so those habits get exposed on the charts, period. And it gets even more exposed and it becomes more emotionally bearing at first if you don't have game to go off of, right? But it's because we're dealing with money. And like we're pretty emotional human beings about money, and especially our money. You know what I'm saying? And before I wrap number 1 up, how many times have you intentionally had an activity to work on your discipline? Like how many times? An activity that any activity where it's actively working on your discipline. And so when we think about the laws that I brought up, right? And so if we haven't done any activities to work on our discipline, that means we're leaving our discipline to tend to itself. And so since we have not been intentional on growing our discipline has been left to grow itself, which means it's going to be closer and closer to disorder or dysfunctional or lacking discipline, right? And so trading consistently works on that process. It consistently works on that process. So that's why I say that's one part about trading, because trading is infinite. It's an infinite process. You can never stop developing as a person. I haven't even talked charts. Like this video is going to be about charts. Like these are two things that aren't even about charts. That's the thing. That's what I had to realize. When that clicked for me, I knew that I would never stop trading. When that clicked for me, I knew that there's no reason. There's truly no reason to not trade. Like, and I just posted this on my Instagram the other day. I don't like the term, like, trading is not for everybody. Like, I don't believe that, because we all have these higher faculties. We all have these higher faculties. We all are meant to become more, like to be, do, have. Myron Golden, right? Be, do, have. Be more, do more, have more. Like, we're not supposed to have more. That's what we normally want, is just to have more. Okay, so if we want to have more, then I have to do more. Okay, but I can't do more until I am more, right? And that's why we become more, and then it's so beautiful. And so based on that, like, why would I ever stop trading? It's a constant process. I get a chance to, like, I get the opportunity to work on myself every single day, even not on and yes, there are things that we can do, like read, study something. Right, and to where we can still work on these. I'm not saying that trading is the only source to work on these. I'm saying this is one of the reasons I trade, right? Because the process is infinite. Me developing and becoming more growth mindset type of perspective, trading provides that. All right, so that's number 1. That's just looping around, right? Number 2 is because the other infinite part about trading is the reward, right? And here I'm talking about the monetary reward, the money, right? The money in trading, right? Like once you really get it, like it's first of all, it's not just gonna happen overnight. Like there's not anything that like clicks. It's the constant process. Then the days start to add up. The days become weeks, right? Those weeks become months, and you only need it doesn't there's been times I see so many traders, like they'll have like a really banger week, And that week will recover everything they've ever invested. Not lost. Yeah, it was money they lost from trading, but they invested in their education. And 1 week of results came from years, weeks, days, months, hours, all of it. Money from the process over that time, and all of that was wiped away in weeks, in a week. Right? And so then it's just continue to scale from there. And that's why I say so you have the process is infinite, and the profit, the reward is infinite. Like, I don't believe there's ever going to be a point where I'm not going to be able to literally just have trading be my source of income if I wanted it to. I'm still becoming a consistently profitable trader. But the image of me being one is already very vivid in my mind. And so aggregation of marginal gains, compound interest, right? Just what I said a second ago. There's going to be a week, a month that's just gonna wipe out everything that I've ever invested into trading, and then it's just growth from there, right? And so the reason why I say that one second is because the first one's so important, and the first one is so enjoyable because the second one, but like I also the more that I have gotten into it, in terms of developing myself, mastering myself, developing those higher faculties, like I truly, truly enjoy that. Like, because you see how rare it is for the daily person. Like the person you can tell in the things they say, in their verbiage, in their body language, in the things they talk about. Like I become so more aware of those, and now I'm able to filter them. And I will say, I was not this deep into it before I started trading, but because I figured out that trading was based on myself and mastering myself more than it could ever be about the charts, I was more invested in it, and I was more emotionally involved with it, because trading is not only the source of infinite process, but it's infinite profit. And so when I think about that, I think about time and money freedom. So infinite process development, infinite profit potential, two like majors, right? Like I don't even really have to go on from there with those. Like I don't really have to go on from there after those two. You know what I'm saying? And so, but this is the kicker. This is the mic drop right here. After this one, I'm gonna end it. This is the mic drop. Not only does trading offer infinite profit potential, infinite process development, but you can also learn for no cost. You don't actually need to spend any money learning how to trade. Hold on, what? What did you just say? You don't have to spend any money to learn how to trade. Now, yes, there are certain emotions and psychological experiences we need to have with having our money in the market, like live, real money. That because that is the emotionally involved aspect. The money is something that directly attacks our emotions, and that is a chance for us to really get emotionally involved with what we do. So you have to be eventually, of course, trading with real money. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just developing trading. And so there's two sides to it. There's parts of trading that you can only develop trading with real money. And then there's parts of trading that you can develop without trading real money. Right? That's a fact. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not even just talking demo trading. I'm not even talking about actually executing trades. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm simply just talking about studying. That's all I'm talking about. Not that you can do the charts. Yes. Find your edge. Identify your edge. Super important. Got to identify your edge. But you have to really study what trading is. And that's why we approach the market. And I love our approach to the macros, because it explains the chart, right? It explains where even trading comes from. Like, why does it even matter? And then, we get into the news, and that's for another video. But the point I'm making is you can study all of that without spending anything, and you can back test, and you can even forward test, right? You don't have to necessarily execute the trade. That part is when we're getting emotionally involved with it, especially when it's our money. You can also execute trades on a demo account, fake money or monopoly money. You can also do that just so you can see it's not gonna be nearly as heavy with your own money, but it's still gonna give you a chance to get emotionally involved with it because, if you've been studying something for months, right, and you found a strategy, an edge, and you're like, man, I understand it. I'm just gonna open a demo account, and then you open up a demo account, and something you've been studying, you see it not work out at all for 10 trades in a row. That's your chance to get emotionally involved with it, right? Because you're gonna see, damn, I just lost 10 trades and I spoiled my plan to a T, right? And then you get emotionally involved with it because that kind of hurts. And then what you have to think about, this gives you a chance to develop those higher faculties and the emotions, and gives us a chance to understand things from probabilities, right? So we have to have those experiences. So not only does trading offer infinite profit potential, infinite process development, but you can also learn, I'll say, 50% of trading without actually putting your money into the market. But the other 50% is straight psychology. Like, there's certain things psychologically you have to be in the market to experience and to develop. Like, they're pretty hefty, because no matter how good you get on the other 50%, the moment you encounter that other 50%, like, it's gonna hit you like a wrecking ball. But like, the more you study and you're prepared for that, the quicker it'll be for you to bounce back, right? Because you were prepared for it. You didn't know it was gonna feel like this, that other 50%, but you prepared for it in just what you studied, about our mindset, right? And how our approach should be when we're talking about trading. So I could literally talk about reasons I trade all day, to be honest, just because it's such a beautiful opportunity, honestly. And for the three points that I mentioned are just a few. Infinite process development. No matter what, trading is going to require you to continuously get 1% better a day, a 0.5% better a day. But the more that you get stagnant and you're not becoming better, you're becoming worse by default, per the law of entropy. That's by default. If you're not getting better, 0.1% better a day, you're getting 0.1% worse for sure. And trading allows you to have an infinite process development, infinite profit potential when it comes to trading. There's no amount of money. That's like one of the lowest hanging fruits when it comes to trading, in my opinion, is the money, because that is something that is going to come along the way, but it's only gonna go as far as number one, and that's the process development that we will go through and are forced to go through and have the opportunity and should be honored to go through. And then to top it off, I don't need to spend anything to start, at least. To start, I don't need anything. Sounds like a win-win-win in my opinion, but made it to the end of this video. I appreciate you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you for hearing me rant about trading and higher faculties and mindset. If you like our content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button and even turn on notifications so you know when we post a new video. Other than that, EHM trades, and I'm out.